Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal. I review nootropics, and you're going to learn about 8 different nootropics that may actually be compromising your productivity and your well-being in day-to-day life. And this is based on my experience. I've learned that some of the nootropics that are often marketed for having supposed benefits with productivity and energy levels actually end up doing the complete opposite, and then I end up realizing it and being so thankful that I had eventually found out. So hopefully, armed with this information, you can avoid the hassles that I've had and you can just have a good nootropic experience. And so the very first nootropic, and this is in no specific order, would be Tongkat Ali. Tongkat Ali is one of the most popular herbs out there, specifically for boosting testosterone levels in a natural fashion and helping with energy levels as well as better sleep. And there's even some research showing that it can help with things like anxiety and irritability. And I'm very disappointed that there's plenty of studies out there, but they all show that Tongkat Ali really doesn't have any adverse effects. Though if you browse anecdotes, many individuals report having negative experiences somewhat similar to mine. And I've talked more about the Tongkat Ali side effects in this video over here. But the good news is that most of the side effects can be avoided if you take Tongkat Ali not in a fasted state, but you take it with a large meal, ideally the largest meal of the day. And when I started using Tongkat Ali, I was taking just 200 milligrams a day, but I was taking it in a fast state, really not knowing about some of these side effects and wondering why was I feeling uneasy. Yet at the same time, I couldn't really pinpoint that it was Tongkat Ali responsible for that, because I'm somebody that usually intermittent fasts. So I was really questioning what was wrong with me, and eventually, of course, I came to learn that it was because of the fact that I was using Tongkat Ali in a fasted state. And I was pleased to learn that I could still take Tongkat Ali towards the end of the day while not have it interfere with my sleep. The second nootropic that may be compromising your productivity would be ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is also known as being the king of herbs, and it's probably the most popular supplement when it comes to reducing levels of stress and anxiety. So I've been using ashwagandha on and off at this point for 7 to 8 years, and I found one of the most disappointing things about ashwagandha is the fact that it does significantly decrease your levels of motivation. Users often ingest ashwagandha feeling relaxed, feeling lethargic, often feeling fatigue, and most commonly just that they're not getting as much work done as typically. It's kind of a state where you feel that you're in a better baseline mood, yet at the same time you're not stretching yourself to push forward, to do more activity than you're accustomed to, especially if you're an entrepreneur or if you're in sales, for example, like myself. I sell residential real estate. You definitely don't want to be taking anything that could potentially compromise your work ethic. And unfortunately, I really don't have a magic pill or an accompanying supplement that you can take with ashwagandha to reduce those side effects. It's just more of a matter of if you notice the phenomena happening, then you may want to decrease your ashwagandha intake, or you can take it in the later part of the day versus the beginning part of the day, of course, just depending on how you react to ashwagandha. I'm somebody that I ingest it, I notice it instantly, whereas with most individuals, they would have to use ashwagandha for a considerable amount of time for them to start noticing some of the effects, both positive and negative. And I've tried so many different forms of ashwagandha, so many different dosage protocols. I've talked more about the different types of ashwagandha during this video over here. And the way that I'm currently taking ashwagandha is taking 300 to 500 milligrams of the KSM 66 ashwagandha sometime in the afternoon, and I'm taking 120 milligrams of the Shodan extract of ashwagandha right before sleeping. The third nootropic supplement that may be compromising your productivity is modafinil. Modafinil was the most popular supplement out there. People were describing the phenomena of feeling like NZT48 from that famous movie Limitless. And this is a very tricky supplement or nootropic or whatever you want to call it, because of the fact that it's not necessarily a stimulant, but what it does is it wipes away any sort of sleep debt that you may have accumulated. But what it actually is it's a wakefulness agent, meaning that it helps you be more awake, especially if you're somebody that's sleep deprived or you have accumulated a lot of sleep debt. You would likely be an individual that could feel modafinil working, whereas people often can't. And I'm somebody that when I ingest modafinil, I feel very energetic, I can get things done. But what I dislike is the fact that it definitely throws off my judgment. I have no patience for anyone. I can do things like shoot videos, but when it comes to make conversations with other people, be empathetic, think about my business, think about plans long term, it's as if you prioritize tasks backwards, and the most important things that need being done are often things that you'll procrastinate with. You would just want to do a lot of those low dollar per hour activities. And what's worse is that modafinil is horribly addicting. At a serving size of around 100 milligrams, what it does is actually boost your mood quite significantly, so you're feeling like you're in a better mood, but it's an artificial feeling. And I'm sure that you and me would both prefer to achieve better levels of happiness without the use of a supplement. The fourth nootropic that may be compromising your productivity would be Bacopa monnieri. And Bacopa is very similar to ashwagandha in the sense of both of them are adaptogens, meaning that they're supplements individuals would use for decreasing their levels of stress and having a better relationship to stress. And that's really what Bacopa does. But also I like the fact that with Bacopa monnieri, one of the amazing benefits that pretty much differentiates this supplement versus the others is the fact that it can significantly improve your memory. As for the study here, they actually showed that Bacopa helped med school students actually achieve better scores, and they reported better results in their memory scores after using Bacopa monnieri. But one of the ways in which it can decrease your productivity levels is specifically by, similar to ashwagandha, making you feel demotivated, stimulated, but I feel with Bacopa it's a little bit different because with ashwagandha I ingest it and I still feel somewhat energetic, but with Bacopa Mineri I feel tired. And again, we're all going to be different when it comes to different nootropic supplements out there. You're going to respond differently than others. And what I found is that if you're an individual that feels that way with ashwagandha, most likely you should notice the similar feelings with Bacopa Mineri. But it's also worth pointing out that with Bacopa Mineri, individuals often also feel a drop in libido as well as a slight drop in testosterone, but we don't have any studies that suggest it does that. In fact, if you're an individual that has high cortisol levels, you may actually be able to increase your testosterone levels through using Bacopa Mineri because of the fact that it may be calming you down and make sure that your hormones are working optimally. The fifth nootropic supplement that could likely be compromising your productivity, and I'm glad I noticed this recently, is L-theanine. And L-theanine is often actually going to be used accompanied with caffeine, or that's how most people know L-theanine. They know it as a supplement to use with caffeine because L-theanine can potentially reduce some of the negative side effects that take place when you ingest caffeine. The great thing about L-theanine is an amino acid. It's naturally occurring. It's most commonly going to be found in green tea, but it's often actually ingested again with caffeine at a serving size of 100 milligrams to 200 milligrams of L-theanine. And while it may help you to achieve better levels of calmness, peacefulness, relaxation, often it will result in you feeling a bit lethargic, feeling a bit tired, a bit demotivated. And one of the things that I dislike most about L-theanine is that the effects are very inconsistent. Some of the times you ingest L-theanine, you feel great, you feel productive, you feel like you can still focus, whereas a lot of the times you'll actually use L-theanine and you'll end up feeling somewhat stimulated, you'll feel more tired than typically, sometimes you feel like your blood sugar drop, you'll feel hungry, and so that's one of the reasons why I rarely, if ever, take L-theanine these days. I just see it as a risky supplement. I'm not willing to take a supplement if I don't know exactly how I'm going to respond to it. So perhaps if it's a day off work, L-theanine may be in one of the nootropic blends that I enjoy, then I may use a supplement, but I'm definitely against it. The next nootropic supplement that could be compromising your productivity is alpha-GPC. Alpha-GPC is a choline supplement, and choline is one of the most important nutrients for overall cognition, overall brain health. It's been said that most individuals are actually deficient in choline, and it's difficult to get enough choline through your diet. One food that's rich in choline would be egg yolks. However, one egg yolk has 150 milligrams of choline, and it's been said that when you cook the egg yolk, you're actually losing 2/3 of its choline content. So one of the reasons why alpha-GPC is so popular is because it's the most bioavailable form of choline, meaning that you would ingest the choline and get the benefits that you're expecting from it and probably notice something. I personally really enjoy alpha-GPC. I use it every single day, and I don't feel that it compromises my productivity, but I've definitely come across quite a few individuals that actually have reported feeling the opposite, feeling like when they ingest alpha-GPC, they feel headaches, they feel kind of symptoms of depression, like some sadness, they don't know where it's come from. And so for that reason, we're seeing actually a decline in popularity of alpha-GPC. And one of the things that has maybe made this more so is the fact that there was a recent study done on alpha-GPC, potentially linking it to having a higher likelihood of experiencing a stroke. And I've talked more about that in this video over here, alpha-GPC side effects, but I'm still comfortable using the supplement, and I'll use alpha-GPC at a serving size of 150 milligrams to 200 milligrams, 2 to 3 times a day, depending on how I'm feeling. This is definitely a nootropic supplement where you have to find your sweet spot with. You may want to experiment with different serving sizes and see how you respond to it and then adjust accordingly. Because for me, I started using alpha-GPC, I took too little, then I took too much, and then ultimately what happens, you find the right amount based on your cholinergic needs for you to feel like your best self. The next nootropic supplement that could compromise productivity levels would be lion's mane mushroom, and I've been using lion's mane mushroom for about 9 years now. I absolutely love it. I like the fact that it improves my mood while not stimulating me, so I still feel like my normal self, but I feel more curious. I enjoy conversations with people. I want to learn more about different people, situations, and things, and so that's one of the reasons why it can potentially decrease productivity levels, is because of the fact that you're suddenly more curious and more interested about everything. And let's say if you just need to have tunnel vision focus to get something done, then lion's mane may not be the best nootropic supplement, because when it comes to concentration, it's hard to stay focused on one thing when you want to be focused on everything, and that's how lion's mane feels. Some individuals notice that they get somewhat demotivated with lion's mane, though I'm not an individual that feels those effects. I don't feel like it makes me more productive or less productive. It just makes me enjoy the process a bit more. Like I'll finish the day, I'll feel more fulfilled. I'm more able to link some of my short-term actions to my long-term goals and what I want. So I can really see lion's mane mushroom being used in so many different circumstances, whether you're a student, whether you're an entrepreneur, heck, even if you're on vacation, you'll notice that lion's mane will just kind of brighten up the experience a bit more. And so I'm currently using the dual extract lion's mane from Nootropics Depot. I take 500 milligrams at least twice a day. Sometimes I'll take it 3 times a day, and I have a pretty good experience, but I'd be curious about yours in the comment section below. And the next nootropic supplement that could compromise your productivity levels would be l-tyrosine, which most individuals would actually use for increasing levels of focus, motivation, more energy. This is often a supplement that you're going to find actually in pre-workout products. In fact, I noticed I was using a pre-workout and I was feeling great the whole day, and then I pinpointed it was pretty much l-tyrosine, not necessarily the caffeine that was responsible for that effect. And I've been taking l-tyrosine for well over 10 years at this point. I use it every single day. I don't take any time off because I exercise every day and I love taking my l-tyrosine pre-workout, but I can definitely see how it could compromise productivity. And that's because of the fact that when you ingest l-tyrosine, your anxiety levels go up, you're more motivated, and sometimes you have just too much energy for you to go ahead and actually think rationally about things. And I noticed that when I use l-tyrosine, I feel great for 90 minutes up to 2 hours, but afterwards it's often going to be followed with a slight crash, a slight drop in mood, and of course more anxiety. So you definitely want to use l-tyrosine strategically. Like I mentioned, I use it pre-workout. I'll also use it in the later portion of the day. Let's say it's near the end of the day, you need a bit of an energy boost, but you don't want to ingest coffee because of the fact that coffee is going to mess with your sleep. That's a perfect scenario to use l-tyrosine, but often I notice that I'll ingest it and I'll feel more anxious. So if it's work that involves communicating with other people, then I have to think twice about using l-tyrosine specifically because of that. But because if you're anxious, then you have to interact with other people too. Often you can be overthinking, and then that sets you up for a downward spiral of productivity, which is something you definitely don't want happening. But I absolutely love l-tyrosine. I would probably rate it a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 because of the many benefits associated with it. And I'm currently using it around a serving size of 1 gram pre-workout first thing in the morning, and then I'll use 500 to 750 milligrams later on during the day, depending on what sort of work that I have for that specific day. And I'd love to know which nootropics you would add to this extensive list. Be sure to comment in the comment section below. Do subscribe if you found the video informative. If you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can message me on Patreon, and be sure to visit our Discord server. We have a 24/7 chat room. We're having a whole lot of fun. I thank you for your interest in nootropics and look forward to seeing you next time.